Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are strapping in for something pretty unique, actually.
Yeah, this one's definitely out there. We're looking at some fascinating source material connecting, believe it or not, astrology and drumming.
Right. It's this piece of astromusic analysis focusing on how celestial rhythms, specifically planetary placements, might map onto drumming styles. We're zeroing in on
It
Mars.
sounds wild, but the analysis we've gathered is surprisingly detailed. It takes this idea of cosmic rhythm very literally and argues there's a direct symbolic link between Mars's position and how these incredible drummers play.
So our goal here is to unpack this. Does the energetic blueprint, particularly Mars, governing energy, movement, drive, actually line up with the techniques of drumming giants like Neil Peart and Anika Nilles?
Exactly. It's about seeing if the difference between, say, Mars and a fire sign versus an air sign shows up in their sound, their coordination, their whole approach.
And the sources argue this isn't just like a vague similarity.
No, they claim it's fundamental. The complexity, the feel, the limb independence versus stick control. It's supposedly coded right there in the chart. We're tracing the sound back to the stars, so to speak.
Okay, let's start with a legend, Neil Peart. The sources highlight his Mars in Sagittarius. Before we get into SAG specifically, why Mars for drummers? Why not another planet?
Good question. Mars is the engine, right? It's your kinetic energy, how you move, your physical impulse, coordination. It's action,
How you physically do things.
precisely. So for a drummer whose whole art form is about physical initiation, rhythm, precise movement, Mars is kind of this symbolic ruler of their rhythmic identity.
Got it. Mars is the engine, and Peart's engine is in Sagittarius. What does that mean? Mutable fire sign.
Right. Sagittarius is expansive, it's restless, philosophical, always aiming for something bigger, further out. It's the seeker.
And mutable fire, how does that translate physically?
It means the energy is constantly flowing, searching, pushing outwards. It doesn't like being boxed in. It wants to explore, to journey. It's dynamic.
And listening to Peart, you absolutely feel that. He wasn't about simple beats. His playing involved huge dynamic movement across that massive kit.
Exactly. The sources point to this placement as perfect for his famous limb independence. That Sagittarian energy disperses outwards using the whole kit like a landscape.
It wasn't just technical fireworks either.
No, it was narrative. Philosophical almost. Building these huge structures, telling stories through rhythm. Yeah, that's classic Sagittarius the Seeker on a journey.
I remember one source called Sis Solo's cinematic structures, like a detailed itinerary taking you somewhere specific, often with this big, heroic ending.
Yes, that heroic quality, that's the fire element fueling these epic structured journeys. It fits the archetype perfectly.
Okay, hold that image. Big, exploratory, philosophical fire.
Right. Now let's switch gears completely.
Let's contrast Peart's epic fire with the cerebral agility of Anika Nilles, her
Yeah.
core placement, Mars and Gemini.
A total shift. Still mutable, so still adaptable, but we're moving from fire to air. Gemini is mental, quick, communicative, agile.
So less epic journey, more rapid fire exchange.
Kind of, yeah. It operates on that immediate, quick thinking level, conversational.
And her style is known for that intricate coordination, the complex syncopation, switching patterns constantly. You see that mental speed made physical.
Absolutely. Mars in Gemini is said to translate directly into those super fast reflexes, that incredible mental dexterity applied to the kit. Thrives on complexity, variation, quick changes.
The energy feels different too, more playful.
Yeah, playful, intellectual, conversational, very different from that driving, heroic Sagittarian fire.
And there's a specific physical link the sources make, right, about what Gemini governs.
Yes, this is a key point in the analysis.
Hmm.
Gemini anatomically rules the arms and hands.
Okay, wow.
So putting Mars, the planet of energy and action, in the sign, ruling the arms and hands, well, it maps perfectly onto a drummer celebrated for phenomenal stick control and incredibly fast, articulated upper body movement.
Those complex polyrhythms she plays require instant mental shifts. That sounds very Gemini-air.
Pure, fast-moving air, exactly. So you've got Peart's philosophical, large-scale, limb-independent fire.
Versus Nilles' quick, conversational, stick-controlled air. Both adaptable, being mutable, but completely different expressions.
And it gets even more interesting because Nilles' chart has another major feature.
Right. This is where it gets really cool, according to the sources. She doesn't just have Mars in Gemini. She has Uranus in Sagittarius sitting directly opposite her Mars.
And Uranus is the game changer. Planet of surprises, breakthroughs, innovation, rhythmic curveballs, the unexpected.
So putting that opposite your core drive, your Mars, That creates tension.
Massive tension, a
Okay.
constant internal push-pull that, the argument goes, can't really resolve easily or traditionally. It
Right.
demands a creative outlet.
You're forced to invent something new to release that pressure.
Exactly. And the opposition comes from Sagittarius Peart's energy axis. So it's this friction between maybe traditional expansive structures and sudden Uranian disruption. It practically forces experimentation.
And you hear that in her playing, the friction.
The source is connected directly to her unique phrasing, those signature pocket grooves, the non-traditional meters, the odd timings. It's rhythmic friction made audible.
It explains why her style feels so modern, so fusiony, always surprising you.
Right. She takes that Gemini agility and uses the Uranian tension to constantly disrupt expectations. It's the blueprint for the rhythmic curveball, connecting the astrological tension to what her innovative sound.
It's pretty compelling, taking abstract chart dynamics and seeing them reflected in specific technical choices, not just vague vibes.
It lets you analyze technique not just as skill, but maybe as energetic imperative, what the energy needs to do.
Okay, so let's bring this into the present or potential future. The source material talks about applying this to that rumored collaboration, Geddy Lee, Alex Lifeson, and Anika Nilles.
Yes, this potential project becomes symbolically huge through this lens. If it happens, you're looking at what the sources call a mutable sign evolution of the Rush sound or legacy.
A mutable sign evolution. So shifting from Peart's Mars in Sagittarius
That epic driving structural fire.
to Nilles' Mars in Gemini, the adaptable, quick, airy communicator. What does that actually mean for the sound?
It suggests a fundamental shift in the rhythmic dynamic. Kurt's sag energy often drove the band, defining the structure, dominating in a way. It was the philosophical engine.
He set the course.
Right. Nils's Gemini energy is inherently more conversational, more adaptive. It dialogues rather than dictates, so the expected sound shift would be significant.
Meaning, if you're listening for that massive, Peart-like booming structure leading the charge,
You might be listening for the wrong thing. The material suggests anticipating lighter textures, more intricate interplay, rhythms designed to lock in and converse with the guitar and bass, not pave the way for them.
less marching orders, more complex conversation.
Exactly. Where Peart provided the epic framework, Nilles might provide these complex interlocking grooves that allow for more flexibility, more back and forth, moving from Sagittarian scale to Gemini interplay.
That adaptability, that responsiveness, that's the mutable air signature taking the lead rhythmically.
That's the core idea for anyone anticipating new material. Expect agility, refinement, conversational complexity perhaps, over that sheer defining power. Evolution through adaptation.
That framing really clarifies the potential shift. Okay, so wrapping this up, we've explored a pretty unique perspective today.
Definitely. Looking at how these seemingly abstract placements, Mars and fire versus air, plus that Uranus tension seem to map onto really specific audible drumming characteristics.
From Peart's philosophical narratives expressed through that huge physical range.
To Nilles' incredibly intricate polyrhythms and amazing stick control, the supposed energetic blueprint really does seem to align with their physical and creative output in uncanny ways.
It offers a different angle on why they sound the way they do, beyond just years of practice.
An insight into musical instincts, maybe.
So a final thought for you, the listener, mulling over this idea of astromusic. If we play with this symbolic framework,
Yeah, if we accept that Mars in Gemini links to arm-hand dexterity for a drummer, and Mars in Sagittarius to that expansive full-kit motion,
how else could this apply? What about other musicians, other planets?
right, like what might Mercury planet of communication, speed, intellect signify for a keyboard player's improvisational flair? Or maybe a guitarist's phrasing.
It just gives you a whole different symbolic lens for thinking about musical talent and technique, doesn't it? Something beyond the notes on the page.
Exactly. Little food for thought.